Okay, so let's move on from The Godfather. Sean, do you want to go throw out a movie,
Yeah.
or do you want me to throw out one?
I think you should. I think I might have seen more mob movies than you.
Okay, fine.
Well, look at that.
I don't want to talk about one you haven't seen.
I was going to throw out probably one of the most popular, that Goodfellas. You know, Betsy, have you seen it?
I have. Just
And
like
I'm-
a year
We
or
watched
two
it
ago, I
together?
watched it with Sean.
That was your
Oh,
first
yeah.
time to see it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How are we friends?
Okay,
Like-
I would like to say something. You normally with movies are like, I don't like them unless they end happy. Then there's this whole genre of mob movies, and you're like, I love all of them. And I'm like, none of them end happy. None of them. And you're like, yeah, I know, but this
Well,
is what
some of
Angela
them.
told me. I texted her and I said, none of the mob movies end happy, you know? And she's like, yeah, well, life isn't always happy, Betsy. That's what she tells me. After there's several other movies that she won't watch because someone dies. And I'm like, what? So
Yeah.
anyway, Goodfellas.
So I love Goodfellas. And I was actually talking to my older cousin, Regina, and she said, I can watch Goodfellas on repeat. And I was like, so can I. Even though it is so violent, it's a true story, though. It's kind of crazy, his story. But
Yeah.
I love Goodfellas.
It's
I-
really, I feel like it's a really well told story. Like it's
The,
just,
the whole way how they
Yeah.
did everything. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that like for Scorsese's like the entire rest of his career, he was trying to get out of the shadow of Goodfellas almost because like he knows that Goodfellas is probably the best thing that he's ever done. I mean, I guess I'm sure that there's people that would argue with me about that, but I think it's certainly one of the most popular things that he ever directed. But just like the way, like kind of the frame story with Ray Liotta's like narration. I mean, usually voiceover is like kind of lazy in a movie, but like it really adds something to it. And of course,
So
you've got,
much.
like it's everybody. It's all the good people like in one. Like anytime
Mhm.
it's Nero and Joe. Like the only person who's not really in it is Pacino. You know.
Right.
But like you got De Niro, you got Joe Pesci. You know, Ray Liotta's good in it. Like there's just yeah. I mean, it's a really solid movie.
And it was up for a ton of Oscars.
Mhm.
It didn't win because it was the same year that Dances with the Wolves came out. And that
Yeah.
like won a ton. But Joe Pesci actually won. He has the shortest Oscar speech. He just walked up and he was like, thank you, and walked off.
really?
Yeah. But I'll tell you a funny story. My cousin Megan painted, you know, in the movie, the picture that the mom is painting, Joe Pesci's mom, with the man in the boat, and one dog looks one way and one dog looks the other. So my cousin Megan painted that picture for my brother, and she gave it to him for Christmas one time. So we put it up on the wall, just, you know, looking at it. My cousin Luke came in and he sat down on the couch and he was like, what's the Goodfellas painting doing up there? But she did a really good job too. But it's just it's such a violent movie, but I just really like it. What did you think about it, Betsy?
Why do you like it?
I don't know. I just like it. I like everything about it.
I mean,
I like the wedding scene a lot.
Okay.
But I just like it. What
I
did
like
you
the
think?
characters. I like the story. I mean, I closed my eyes for I mean, I don't like violence and gore. And so, yeah, that's, you know.
I think anything with Joe Pesci, you're going to have some violence.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
I mean, he's been in a few like comedies, but yeah.
I mean, even Home Alone was kind of violent.
True. Maybe that's why I don't watch Home Alone a lot. The violence.
Yeah. I do like how they, like, you know, kind of, we talk about like Michael in The Godfather being this sort of like reluctant, you know, having this like sort of reluctant initiation like into the mob. But I think Ray Liotta's story in it is more consistent with what gets people in general like hooked up into that lifestyle. It's like he
Mm-hmm.
saw, like, from when he was a kid and he didn't understand. He saw the money, he saw the power, he saw the influence of these people, and kind of like came up through the world. And then the scene, probably the best scene in Goodfellas is, well, I mean, there's the funny house scene, which is great and classic. But there's a scene where he's taking his girl into the club,
And
they
passes out money.
They, yeah, well, not even just passing out money, but they go in through the back door. They get the best seat. They, everybody in this club knows exactly who he is and what he's about, and she's all impressed and everything. I mean, that's like the peak of him, and his like position in the mob. And I think that, like, visually, that's like one of the best instances of that I've ever seen. Like, that's, Michael doesn't get like a aha moment like that. You never really,
Right.
you see his big house and stuff, like you never really see like him sort of
With the
flaunting
people.
Like getting
that
perks.
power the way that he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's in that moment you're kind of like, yeah, man, like, if that's what it meant, like, I could do that. But then of course, like, the second half is, where he gets fat and becomes an informant and all this other stuff.
Yeah. Becomes an
So,
informant and then lives. I mean, he died as an old man in his 80s. That he was never killed is crazy. Don't you think it's kind of crazy?
yeah, think I read somewhere, maybe it was somebody else, maybe it was the guy that The Irishman was based on, but didn't he like he got into something also later, like even
No,
out of witness protection?
he did. He got kicked out of witness protection because he got into illegal stuff. Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah. And then he came out, and when this movie became popular, and like did a whole like press junket, from like one to another. And I was still like, maybe he wasn't killed because at that point he was so visible, but he was a rat, and they just let him walk. They never did anything to him, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they might have tried. I don't know. Maybe a lot of those people just weren't around. But
yeah, that's true.
Another cool. Have you seen Casino?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, I didn't know.
Did you
Betsy's
like
never
it?
seen
I
it.
haven't seen it.
Betsy, Casino is also based on a true story.
Yeah. Well,
so it's
this
another
past like week or two when we were
Scorsese
watching, we had to like, we had to prioritize what we're gonna watch. I didn't have time to watch all of these, and they're all like 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they are really long.
So Sean watched Casino on his own. I
So
didn't watch it with him.
I will tell you, Sean, Casino, I can watch it and up to the very end when they're in the cornfield. Then I'd turn it off.
Yeah.
Because I only need to see that scene once, and it's in my brain, and I don't need to see it again.
Yeah. I guess that's fair.
But the rest of it I kind of like. I mean, it's not my favorite, but if it's on TV, I'll stop and turn it on and watch it.
Yeah, I mean, there's cool things about it. I like the sort of the contrast between De Niro's character, who, despite being crooked, is like kind of a straight man. He just wants to run his casino and hotel. And then Joe Pesci's character, who
is not at all
greedy and just nothing satisfies him. He's always got more and more and more and more and more. That's.
Now, how do you feel about Sharon Stone's character in that movie? Because I want to slap her so hard. Like, she's constantly going back to James Woods, his character, who's like a little slime ball.
Not liking the wronged women in these mob movies. Like,
she's not wronged. She marries him and continues to see James Woods, who is he is such a slime ball in the movie. He's not a good person at all for her.
But Angela, it's implied that he like pseudo kidnapped her as a child and like sex traded her. Like, it's not a normal like man-woman relationship. Like, it's not something that she should just be able to like pick up and leave him. Like, that's the power that he has over her, is he's so
So it's not like she could just divorce him if she wanted to.
Right. No. Well, they're
N-
not.
no, she's not married to
Sharon
James.
Stone's
It's James
character
Woods.
is like a career con artist,
Mm-hmm.
and she like seduces men and steals stuff from them and stuff like that. But she has this other character who's James Woods, who's a pimp, but it's like very heavily implied, and I think that in the real story that it was true that she was like a child prostitute, like he was her pimp, like early on in life, and then but then he still like kind of has this hold over her.
Yeah, he does.
Like
yeah,
and so
to the
yes,
point where
like
she leaves her daughter. I mean,
yes,
she's just like willing to give up everything just to be with him.
right, and I agree that it doesn't make sense. I cannot necessarily blame her for that. And Robert De Niro's character gets a little shady at the end of that relationship too. He does become very controlling,
possessive. I can see that though. It is his wife, and then she stole from him like a ton. So to give to that guy, the little sleazeball.
Yeah, their whole safety deposit box with $2 million in cash in it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So okay, that's Casino, which is again kind of based off. It's based on a true story.
Yeah.
So I want to bring up one.
Okay, Betsy, you bring up one
because I thought it was interesting. A Bronx Tale. I hadn't seen it until a couple weeks ago. Sean, you watched. This is the first time you saw it, right?
Yeah, it was.
Really?
I really enjoyed it.
Well, and I thought of it because De Niro plays a straight good guy.
He's a completely
which is very different,
right?
And so that was just like I was kind of waiting for the first half of the movie. Like, well, what are we going to see about him? No, he's just a good guy.
Well, and this is the first movie that we've talked about where the mob is not the good guys. They're not the main characters of the movie.
But I agree, but I would say that this was what I thought was interesting is, and I don't remember the guy's
Sonny.
The main guy, Sonny. Yeah.
Sonny. Mm-hmm.
He says explicitly a few times that although this kid that he's like kind of taken under his wing, he said, you're going to go to school. You're not going to be involved in this. Like you're going to do it the right way.
He wants him to do better.
Which is very interesting because in that way, him and the kid's father, both of them, Little C's father, De Niro, they have the same goals. It's just interesting because even though he says he wants that for Little C, C's getting pulled into it anyway. Like it's everywhere around him. But I did think that was interesting because in the other ones, you see all the mob bosses that take somebody under their wing. They're training them. They're using them to run errands or doing this, but they're getting them to work for them eventually. And with this, he's working for him, but he really doesn't want that life for him. And I thought that was very different than any of the other things I've seen.
And he tells C as he's growing up and he's more of a teenager, like you need to get away from those guys that he's hanging around with because those are not good influencers. He really, and I think him and De Niro's character would get along.
Yes,
because they really like
can't trust him, obviously.
Exactly. Yeah, but they do want the best for C. Which Colangio, is that his name?
I think.
Bless him.
Yeah.
So bad.
Call him C. So I did like that was one of the few ones I've seen where it wasn't a happy ending, but I felt like it was a good ending. Like, people are always going to die at the end. Let's be honest.
So that was the first time for you to see it too, Sean?
Yeah. I'd never seen it before.
What did you think, Sean?
Well, I liked it for that reason. I mean, because it's got like some good. Another movie we can talk about with this is The Departed, where it actually has like where the mob is actually the bad guys, which is what they are.
Departed was so good.
People.
Yeah,
it was so good.
But then it still has like a good guy side to it, but it also still like kind of guilty pleasure, like has some cool like mob like flexes. I don't know what you want to say, but like the mob just like being badass and like being the mob.
Yeah,
like when they beat up the bikers.
Yes, the "Yous Can't Leave" scene.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome. That's like the make him an offer he can't refuse like scene.
I like how you said it too, Sean. Now Yous can't leave.
Yeah, now Yous can't leave. And so so it's got that kind of mix of yes, like this what attracted C to that life, and of course the both punks that he hangs out with in high school and stuff like that. I thought the romance was kind of interesting in that movie. I mean, it was cool. It was a cool angle on it, like but then also like the flip side of it, which is that I mean, neither one of their neighborhoods, like his dad is like, even though his dad is like kind of this good guy, is also like kind of pretty racist,
Yeah, because it's the time. It is kind of, that was interesting that they, like you said, I was kind of shocked that they added it in, because I've seen this movie a lot. I watched it, I mean, gosh, years ago, probably when it came out. And I just remember the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, wow. It was a little shocking. But I like them together. I like that she leans over and opens his car door or unlocks it,
which
that
is
was
like
cute.
the thing that he told them to look for.
Yeah. I like that.
But then he's got his little punk friend who just like wants to beat up black people, like just doesn't like seeing them, and his association with that ends up being his whole, the whole downfall of that situation.
Yeah.
So another one where the mob is not the good people that we're talking about is Untouchables.
Oh, okay. You want to go to Untouchables? Okay.
Sorry, did you want to go in a different direction?
Well, Sean had mentioned Departed.
Yeah.
Okay. Either one.
So either or of those, I'm good.
The Departed is kind of like.
Okay, what were you saying about the Untouchables, Sean?
Well, not
Departed.
But the Departed. I mean, the Departed kind of follows in that. It's like just kind of following along, because I mean, in the Untouchables, like clearly the mob is the bad guy. Like, it's almost not even a mob movie; it's a cops movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, though there's some cool stuff in it, but in the Departed, it's the same guy. I mean, Jack Nicholson's character is a mob boss, but to Matt Damon's character, he's a father. Like he's brought him up, like, and always supported him and all of this stuff, and so it kind of gives you a glimpse into like this is how they operate, is they build on this sense of community and family and stuff, and then they use it to like do like the worst shit imaginable. And so, and like contrasted with Leonardo DiCaprio's character, who grew up in a shitty neighborhood where all of his family were connected except for his dad, who Jack Nicholson knew of as like a clean guy, but then ends up he's really a cop, but then goes and gets involved in the mob. And so I just think that dynamic was like, I mean, and so The Departed is another Martin Scorsese movie. Like, I don't know why anybody else even tries to make mob movies. But yeah, so that's based on a story from a Hong Kong movie from like the late 90s.
Really?
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it, but it's not an original story. It's an adaptation of that story, but it fits like really well in that setting, with the Irish mob. I guess all the other ones have been Italian. This is the first one where it's
and it was I mean, the first time I watched The Departed, and I heard people talk about it, and I was like, oh, I just don't know if I could do it. But the cast is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like it's the younger actors, but are all like big hitters, like the older mob movies that we've been talking about. Like these are all great actors in this movie.
Yes. And it's every time you turn around, there's like another huge A-list name, and you're just like, really?
They weren't necessarily, not all of them were necessarily A-listers then. I mean, like DiCaprio.
In 2006?
Yeah, so DiCaprio's coming up. Damon's like already sort of established, but like, and Nicholson obviously is there. But like Martin Sheen is Captain Keenan. Alec Baldwin's in there.
Alec Baldwin, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I mean they're all just, Vera Farmiga, who I don't think she had done Up in the Air yet, which is like what I always think of when I think of her.
But they all play their characters so well.
Yeah, it's unreal.
Like,
if you had to say who's your favorite like character who acts the best, like who's the best at acting in this movie, I'm like, I don't know. They're all amazing.
Yeah.
So when you saw the end for the first time, because now you can watch it and you're like, okay, this is coming up. But when really, when you saw the end for the first time, okay, first of all, this is spoiler alert, but if you haven't seen it, like Sean said, 2006. Oh well. How surprised were you that they threw Martin Sheen off the building?
I was surprised then.
Yes, that was
because he's a captain, a police captain. Like that's huge. And then the whole elevator thing was just like elevator open, boom, 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 and you're like, huh? What?
Yeah,
they just killed everybody.
Well, but I think at that point they had established Matt Damon's character as somebody that would do anything.
Oh, I hated his character.
Yeah, no, he's such a skis.
Yes.
Like, well, and even, but it's weird that you hate Damon's character more than you hate Jack Nicholson, because then you find out at the end that Nicholson was an informant for the FBI the entire time. Like it's like, yeah, he was a mob boss, but he was also passing on information to the feds.
That blew my mind. That part at the end,
The
I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me? He's he's an informant."
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it really was like shocking, you know?
Yep.
And then I did though really feel bad for Leonardo DiCaprio's character pretty much the whole time, because he wants so bad to get out, and
he's begging, like, this is not gonna work, you know, like this is terrible, and
he's taking medication, he's seeing a psych, like help him get out.
Yep.
But I thought so originally. I thought you were talking about the very end, like the very end.
Oh yeah. With No, I was so glad Mark Wahlberg.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, it's the best. It's one of the.
It
best,
is.
Like, come up
it's just so simple. It's just like done. Like
it's so like you said. There's
take off the gloves. He's got booties on and everything. It's just right there.
And Matt Damon, I like that. Very quickly, we see him figure out like, because
it's over. I got
because I think at that time he probably feels like I could breathe, a sigh of relief. This is all over, you know. Yeah. And good for Mark Wahlberg's character.
Yeah, well, and because Leo sent those tapes, or is it I don't remember, to Vera Farmiga. Now we know. You know, we know all of this stuff. You know, so it's you got justice in a larger way, but yeah, that's a good one. That both like it does. I guess it does kind of like glorify the mob, or not glorify, but like show how it sympathizes somewhat with Nicholson's character and Matt Damon's character. Like you see, like if you take a step back from it, you can see that like Damon never really had a chance. Like he was kind of manipulated, like from when he was a little kid. And so, but oh god, he's such a skis. He's such a terrible person.
He is.
And he plays it so well, though.
And I'll be honest, even in other movies, when he's playing, and I'm still like The Martian, which has nothing to do with the mob, I'm still like, I don't know if I like him.
I just don't trust him. I don't trust him. Is this a lie? Is he working for somebody else? I'm like, he's growing potatoes, Angela.
Is he really where he's supposed to be?
Yeah, Jason.
It's all a setup.
Oh, hold on. Okay, sorry. So from The Departed, which is one great cast, to The Untouchables, which is another great cast. I mean, hello, Sean Connery and young Kevin Costner.
I knew you were going to say that.
Connery's not even young in that movie. He's like,
but he
60.
looks. I don't care.
He does look a lot younger though than
what we've seen recently.
This one we watched recently together, right?
Yes, because I had not seen it.
It's about Capone.
Yes.
Yeah, but the scene where where the assassin is breaking into Connery's apartment and like chases him. I think that's the scene that won him the Oscar. This is like Connery. I think it's his only Oscar for best.
Really?
Yeah.
That's such a shame.
But it's well, I mean, he played like characters.
He was so good in Robin Hood.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Wait, are you talking about
Robin Hood,
Prince of Thieves, where he's a cameo as
Sean Connery was the king? Yeah.
Okay, but he also played Robin Hood, like the character.
What?
In a movie with Audrey Hepburn. Do you not know this?
What?
No, and then I thought Angel thought you were talking about Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
because she's a big Kevin Costner. Her first crush.
An older Audrey Hepburn. They're like aging
Hmm.
Robin Hood and Maid Marian.
I didn't know
Is it
that.
good?
It's a pretty good movie. Yeah, I like it.
I
It's
need
good.
to watch.
Anyway.
Is it black and white?
No, it's not black and white. It's in
Okay, I
color.
might watch it then.
But
Is it subtitled? Okay, I'll watch it.
Now I've
but,
been watching Outlander, so I'm okay with subtitles right now.
Yeah. Oh, but The Untouchables is so good. It's
It
so
is.
good.
It really is.
You know.
Now I
and the
do
way-
hate the baseball bat scene.
Why? Because it's violent?
Because he beat someone's head in with a baseball bat.
Well, I guess you're allowed to hate it because that's what that scene exists for.
Yes.
Is to show you that Al Capone, who up till that point is just kind of a nebulous name, like that he really is, you know, a greedy piece of shit.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, you can see. I mean, it was just interesting to see Kevin Costner's how he progressed into doing whatever he had to do. You know what I mean? Like it was, and after, you know, everybody he works with and loves dies. Not everybody loves, but a lot of people around him. It's just at this point where he's just like, and this guy, I'm just going to shoot everybody until I can get
and then
the
talk
accountant.
about like another like wonderful scene, like just like as from like a filmmaking standpoint. I mean, the train station scene with the baby carriage bouncing down the stairs.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that is like it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that is really good.
There, like you're on the edge of your seat the whole time. Like, what is going to happen?
And it's a long scene.
The build up to it. And
it is.
Yeah.
It's just so long because you're
the
just
build
like,
up for it. I'm like, what is this lady doing?
on.
I mean, this is, and then I'm like, oh, they're building up. You're spending a lot of time watching this mom with her baby. Like, and then I'm like, okay, this is why we spent so much time.
Yeah. It's a great movie. If y'all, because it's an older movie. Do you know when was that made, Sean? Do you know? Like
87.
87. Okay. And it's also young Andy Garcia's in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
if you haven't seen that, highly recommend that because it's very good.
Yes.
And then of course kind of based on real life again.
Yeah. And a new one that, well, it's not new, but one that you watched in preparation for the podcast you hadn't seen before, Angela.
Oh, was Carlito's Way.
Carlito's Way. And I had never seen it either.
That's the only one I watched for this episode because Sean sent me a list and I was like, okay, I'll watch Carlito's Way, which is a younger Al Pacino.
Yeah, but a little bit older than The Godfather.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he's so good.
Did you?
And Sean Penn, don't forget, it doesn't look like
Sean Penn looks so bad.
Sean Penn looking terrible.
Actually,
and like a receding,
like receding hairline.
I mean,
and when I saw Sean Penn in the name and the like titles, I was like, oh, Sean Penn's in it. It took me a while before I was like, that is Sean Penn.
Yeah,
like that, because I was just waiting for Sean Penn to come out, and I was like, whoa, that's him.
Yeah.
So I really like Carlito's Way, though.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it a lot. It was long.
I liked it because I was rooting for him. Like,
I knew it wasn't going to turn out well.
No, I know, but it was someone I could get behind. Unlike the second Godfather, I was not rooting for Michael.
It's like, even though
I wanted Michael to go to jail.
Know that he's trying to get out. You know that he's trying. He has an exit goal in mind. Like, it's not like.
Yeah.
I mean, Goodfellas, you feel like Ray Liotta's character gets out of it for, out of convenience.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Like to save his own ass, but like Carlito never really wanted to be involved. Like,
but I'll be honest. And when even Carlito went with his nephew to go, do the rounds to go pick up that money.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I don't need to. I don't need to. And his nephew's like, come on. I'm like, don't go. You don't need to go. Like, I knew don't go. So.
And don't go with Sean Penn. But then he felt like he owed Sean Penn his life because he was his lawyer, But everybody knew that was a bad idea.
Now, did you know that was coming? Because you like to watch movies and think.
Oh,
did you know Sean Penn was going to do that?
That Sean Penn had taken the guy's money, the guy that was in jail. I knew.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
So, he took it, and then I knew he's an idiot. He's gonna try and get out of it because he was so anxious. Like, he knew he was screwed, so he's like, he's got to do something, And then I was like, yeah, he's gonna be an idiot. I didn't know he was gonna kill that guy and his son, the son being with him.
Right.
But characters in a movie. I mean, that he's pretty
Yes.
despicable. I mean, I don't think he's Matt Damon in the Departed like level despicable, because he was always kind of a sleaze,
Mhm.
But I mean,
But
it's just like
he's also
every time you
dumb.
see him.
He's dumber than Matt Damon.
Right.
Yeah,
He's like,
And because
he's
well, he's
to
on
like
drugs,
shake him and be
you
like, I
know?
mean, at least Matt Damon seems very like thought out and like,
Yeah.
like he has some, mastermind. Not he's not the mastermind, but he definitely is like thinking things out.
Very manipulative.
And Sean
Mhm.
Penn is just like, you're like, what were you thinking? Like, smack him around.
I was surprised when Sean Penn lived when they stabbed him.
Mm.
And then at the end, when he took the bullets out of the gun, Carlito,
Yeah.
and the guy came in and Sean Penn went to shoot the gun, I was like, oh, I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
I
Now,
thought that was good.
100% was expecting the guy to come back, that he like pushed down the stairs.
Yeah.
But I forgot his character's name.
Yeah, but you could
Benny
tell and he's very prideful. You're like, that's gonna come back to bite.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I didn't know that guy would turn on him though at the very end.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Yeah. But I also knew it wasn't going to be a good ending. So I was like, okay, he's going to die.
I liked that not only did Carlito want to get out of the whole thing and he had a plan, but I loved that his plan was like to leave the country and have a rental car business. Like because people laugh at him and they're like, oh yeah, you're going to go do rental cars, and he's like, yeah, I am. Like, I like that he was just so confident about it. He was like, I'm getting out of it. I don't care. It's a good life. I'll work and I'll have enough money. And like, he was so practical about it. He wasn't like, I'm going to have $20 million and go live on a beach. He was like,
right.
I'm going to have a good life and I'm going to have this company and I'm going to
right.
And I just thought it was so respectable. Like, I was like, I want that for him, So
didn't you love at the beginning how he like talks to the judge?
Yes.
Like talks to the judge?
Yeah.
I love that. And I was like, could this really happen in real life? I don't think it could. I don't think a judge would be like, oh, you're going back.
How many? He served 5 out of how many he was supposed to serve? I don't remember.
Like 30?
I don't know.
Something?
It depends on what
It was
you're
a
in
lot.
for. I mean, if he has good behavior and you're out on parole, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sean, you want to talk about another one?
Then you could get out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what other. Have you seen any of the other ones off that list that I seen? I mean, I know. Have you seen any of those like Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels?
No.
Oh.
No, and I told you that one was really long, and you're like, it's only an hour and something, and I was like, no, I mean the movie, the name is so long. Who names a movie that? Like, that's the best you could pick. That's gonna be on my charades one day. What's the name of it again? So I can actually
Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Oh, it's so gonna be charades.
The problem is someone's gonna be acting out, Angel, and you're gonna be like, I can't remember the freaking name, and I wrote it.
Oh, I'm gonna put it down though. Two Smoking Barrels.
I think, are they both by Guy Ritchie? Yeah, I think they're both made by Guy Ritchie.
Oh.
And,
so they're new, or
no, I mean newer. I mean, not like old.
Well, they're not like 70s, 80s.
It's British organized crime. So it's like it's not the Italian.
Interesting.
Or the Irish.
Are they, for our viewing audience and listeners, Sean? Would you recommend one of those or both of those? Well, and why or why not?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd recommend them. I mean, it's if you like Guy Ritchie. I mean, if you know like who he is and what his filmmaking.
Betsy, do you like Guy Ritchie?
I've never seen him. I mean, I've never seen those movies.
He was married to Madonna.
Maybe. I don't know about that. But
he was.
But Snatch is a really funny movie about a boxing promoter played by Jason Statham. It was like roles that Jason.
Whoa! Wait, what? Hold on, let me write this down. You didn't say that, Sean.
You didn't
Jason
even
Statham.
look at the movies.
You did not even say.
You didn't look it up, Angela. You didn't even look at the movie poster. Or the
why
trailer?
didn't you say Angela? This is Jason Statham.
Has a shirtless young Brad Pitt in it.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, question. I think this is interesting. The first thing you said about Snatch is that it's a very funny movie.
They're both funny. They're both really funny.
Betsy, some mob movies can be funny. They don't all have to be like.
Which one have we talked about so far tonight that you would say was a really funny movie?
Well,
Goodfellas.
analyze this and analyze that
But
are both
of the ones we
funny.
talked about tonight,
Of the ones
We're
talked
not
about.
done
none of them
talking.
have been. I
I
know,
would
but I'm
say-
just saying.
I would say Goodfellas is funny.
Okay,
mean-
but I
Goodfellas
wouldn't
has
start
some
off.
funny parts in it.
Sure, but I wouldn't say, have you seen Goodfellas? It's a really funny movie. So that's why I'm like, okay, Snatch is something different than
Yeah.
what we've been
And
discussing.
I don't know that I would put analyze this and analyze that, or what's the one with Bruce Willis and Matthew Perry, that series?
Oh,
The whole 9
9.
yards and the whole 10 yards.
No, I think
Yes.
those are comedy.
Technically, those involve like a mobster, but I don't.
But
Sure.
they're mob movies, but like
No.
mobs in it. Yes.
Yes, so the character is in the mob, but that's not what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that even the Untouchables.
I just say
is
those are
borderline
comedies.
Not a mob movie,
Which one?
because it's
The
more of a cop
Untouchables.
movie.
Yeah,
It's
I
more
would
of a
say
cop
so
movie
too.
than it is
Yeah.
a mob movie. Yeah.
So okay, I'm gonna put Snatch down
And then Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels also has Jason.
for
Statham in it.
charades.
Oh,
So-
did you hear
Wait,
that?
who's in that? What did you just say? I'm sorry.
Jason Statham.
He's in both of those?
Oh my god. You kidding me? At least, hold on. I watched them like back to back, and so I want to make sure that I'm not getting them mixed up.
I
but
just
I'm
think it's
pretty
funny
sure-
now. If you would have told
pretty sure
this to Angela a month ago when you sent her the list, she
Yeah.
would have watched them in preparation for this podcast. But since you
Like-
didn't mention it, she's like, "Oh no, that
Oh,
title's
man.
too long."
Yes,
And no
Lock, Stock,
joke.
and Two Smoking Barrels is the first movie that Jason Statham is in ever.
Hmm.
And Snatch was second in 1998 and 2000.
So, but let me tell you, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Mhm.
Doesn't that, if I said that to you, you'd be like, oh, that sounds like a 1970s Western. That's black and white and blah. Doesn't it sound like that?
No, because I mentioned it to you specifically in the context of mob movies.
Right. No,
No,
I know
it is
that.
about
So,
organized crime.
right. I do realize that. But if you were just to say that, I would be like, I don't want to watch a Western.
Okay.
But I know it's about
Y'all
mob
don't want to do
movies.
a podcast on Westerns? Because I could talk about
No.
that crap all day. I got
No.
a whole
Maybe a
half
year
show
from
full
now,
of
because I need to watch at least like 5 of
Some
them
Westerns.
before.
No. I can tell you about McClintock. That's about it.
Angela, I have to tell you something.
What?
Hold on.
Angela, we should just hang out more.
I know. All right, Betsy, what's your confession?
Okay, so my confession, and Sean will not be surprised by this, but Angela is gonna say, "How are we even best friends?"
I know. I'm just Go
while
ahead.
we're talking, I had to look up who Jason Statham is. And then I looked it up on my phone and I was like, "Oh yeah, that guy."
I can't even.
And then I knew as soon as I looked it up and I saw who it was, I was like, "Oh, Angel's gonna be like, what is wrong with you?"
Do you not watch anything? Have you not seen any of the Fast and Furious?
I saw the first one, but that doesn't mean I know
I mean,
like his
or
name, the
he's
actor's
around
name.
8 or 9 though. You have to watch those.
Oh,
He's-
come on, really?
I have not seen all of the Fast and Furious.
I own them.
I've seen
We can
some.
have a whole, except Tokyo Drift, because Vin Diesel's not in it. But we can have a whole.
I know who Vin
I
Diesel
have a-
is.
I have a good friend who has I mean, people who are really into cars obviously love those movies, but
And men.
Yeah,
People
after
who
the
are
first two,
into
I
hot
was
men
just
as
like,
well, like those.
And
movies.
Hot
I
Men,
haven't
yeah.
seen any of the ones with The Rock in it, you know. I know those are like later on.
Yeah, Angela, can you tell me the cars that are in the movies?
Fast ones. And they're all
Okay.
like pretty colors, like bright orange, bright pink. That's all I
Okay.
know about them.
All right.
And
so
they
you
have
can-
something that makes them like some type of gas that makes them go really
We can do
fast.
another one about car movies. We can talk
Oh,
about
'cause-
Fast and Furious. We can talk about Baby Driver.
Gone in 60
uh,
seconds.
I did like that.
Transformers.
And Baby Driver.
I like Baby Driver too. Of course, John Hamm is in it.
Yeah.
Please tell me you know who that is, Betsy. Please tell me you know who that is.
You don't
I know who
John
that
Hamm
is.
You
Mad
do?
Men.
Mad Men.
Don Draper from Mad Men.
Yeah, I know who that. I said I know who that is.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, back
Thank
to mob
goodness.
movies. We'll
All
talk
right,
about
back
cars
to mob
later because
movies.
you know what I was going to say for car movies is Coupe de Ville, which neither one of you have seen, and you need to see it because it's good. Okay, go ahead. Back to mobsters. Gangsters.
So I think because we're getting closer,
Yeah.
I think there's just some that we have to mention because they're like we haven't even mentioned Scarface.
Yeah. Which I mean, Scarface
Y'all
is
can
like
talk
The
about that.
Godfather with
I
rougher
haven't seen
edges.
Scarface.
Like it's a character study of a guy who just like goes like spirals down into like worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And he only gets
Wait,
to
but
enjoy being a drug lord for like a tiny amount of
a
time.
second. Yeah. Betsy, you've never seen Scarface?
No, it was so Scarface.
Yes. So Scarface is it's a movie that's like The Godfather but more raw in that it doesn't really have a hero. It only has a villain. And he just like Tony just like gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then finally, I mean at the end he kind of, gets what's coming to him a little bit, but he only really enjoys like the high life for like a little while.
Very, yeah, short.
Yeah, and then I think in that book by Shea Serrano that we read, it's only like 5 minutes or something of the whole movie is him, enjoying everything.
Now, when you started that, when you said there's not really a hero, there's only a villain, you could see Angela's face. Like,
So hold on. I have a question for you, Betsy. Or Karen, calling the
yes.
facial expressions out.
I'm
so
just saying I could tell you didn't agree with him from that, the first statement.
I don't take to Tony as I take to Michael. I'll say that. But you've never seen Scarface. So when you hear say hello to my little friend, do you know what they're talking about? That famous line?
I would assume that it is a line from Scarface and it's probably about a gun.
Yes, it is.
Okay, good job.
Good job.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm just going to put some pieces together, even though I haven't seen it. What else would he be talking about? I mean, is Joe Pesci in the movie? Like, what little friend is he referring to?
That's so mean. That's so mean.
I'm allowed to see it. I'm 5'2".
Karen, he's about your height too, but still.
Okay, so what I'm saying is like I just kind of figured that's what it's about. I could be wrong, but I am right. It's about a gun.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
gotcha.
Sean in Scarface.
Yeah.
The bathroom scene.
Yes.
With the chainsaws. The first time I watched that, I was like, Dad, I should not be watching this.
How old were you, Angela?
Movie.
I probably was 10. I don't know. My dad.
Good Lord, no wonder you've got a hard on for Michael Corleone. Like,
what?
Why are you watching these movies when you're so young?
Oh! My mom and dad took us. We were on vacation when Godfather 3 came out, so they were like, "We're going to go see the movie." So you and your brother are going with us to see the movie.
At least I'm a babysitter. So if you were 10,
we're on vacation.
John was how old? 8?
I mean, I might have been a little bit older, but
she said she was 10 when she saw Scarface.
Yeah. And I might have been a little bit older, but yeah, my dad was just like, yeah, I'm watching this, so y'all can watch it. I mean, there's plenty of movies where I was like, Dad.
Your mom is the sweetest lady that I've ever met. Mm-hmm. Why?
Yeah.
Why would she?
Listen.
Shout out Miss Judy.
I love you, Miss Judy.
In Godfather 3, when they shoot up everyone that's sitting at the table, when they're trying to get out, Mom was just like putting her hand over my eyes. And I was like,
oh my God.
Put your hands over my ears because I could hear. It's really bad.
You never had a chance.
But yes, Scarface.
Well, America, this is the home situation that produces a woman that could blame Diane Keaton for life. For her character having an abortion with the most evil character in cinematic history. Actually, I'm going to look that up. I think that Michael Corleone is like one of the AFI's like top 5 movie villains of all time.
No. He cannot be. Hannibal Lecter has got to be higher than Michael Corleone.
Insane. Hold on.
I'm sure Michael Corleone had some type of personality disorder.
Okay, Hannibal Lecter's number 1.
There you go.
Then Norman Bates from Psycho.
Oh, that's good.
Michael Corleone's number 11.
So he's not in the top 5.
He just barely missed top 10 though. I mean, look at these other people that are above him.
Also, the people above him are psychopaths.
Like freaking Nurse Ratched from.
Oh, she's terrible. Yeah.
The demon from The Exorcist is.
Oh yeah, that's really
like
just
come
barely
on.
made the cut right below the
Yeah.
demon.
I mean,
so that's how you get a Michael Corleone like supporter. You start him young.
Yeah,
obviously.
Show
Now, what's
them
surprising-
Scarface when they're 10 and just imprint Al Pacino onto their psyche, you know. And then,
Now,
Yeah,
Angela, you did not ask if Kay is in the top 10 above Michael, but I bet she's not even on the list.
She's not. I bet she's not on the list.
So,
because nobody would consider her a villain.
I still hate her. So,
Oh, Karen.
but yeah, when I saw Scarface, that scene in the bathroom, and Betsy, I think you should watch Scarface just so you could watch it, because I think
Okay.
everyone should watch it at
But
least
do you
once.
know how I am with violence? This
The what's it called,
Frozen.
Sean?
Yeah, we froze. So I said, you know how I am with
Circular
violence?
saw?
What'd you
Wait,
say?
are you
Yeah,
talking-
no, it's a chainsaw. Yeah,
Yeah, chainsaw.
and
It-
they're like they're handcuffed to the thing, and they chop them off.
I will admit, Angela, that it's been a second since I've seen Scarface. Like, it's probably been several years.
Yeah, me too.
When I was thinking
You're
about the
not
ones
selling
that I
me
needed-
on it.
Yeah, when I
Mm.
was thinking about the ones I needed to rewatch in order for to be prepared for this, that was not one of the ones I considered.
It wasn't on there. I just think
was
you
like-
should.
Yeah.
I just knowing that
So
yeah, I don't the violent stuff, it just stays with me for so long. Like you said, I saw that scene once. Like I don't even know what scene you're talking about, the cornfield, but you said I saw it once, I don't need to see it again. That's the stuff, like it stays like a visual image of it in my head for so long. And then I have dreams about stuff and I'm just like, if it's really gruesome, ugh.
this is really gruesome, and Scarface is not. It's pretty violent too. You know.
I can probably just read a
Pretty
summary.
violent. It's like one of the most violent movies that there is. Oh my
You know.
gosh. It cracks me up though that of the two podcasts that I've been on, I mean, I know y'all talk about other stuff, but there was romantic comedies and then mob movies.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if anybody knows the two of you together would ever thought you'd do a podcast about mob movies. I mean, there's very clearly one of you is the driver in this situation.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Yes. Sean, the last
So
episode
buckle
we
up.
should have invited you because the last one was about the new fashion trends for 2021 that you may already have in your closet. And the one before
And then
that
we
was
did-
about our top 10 soups.
Soups.
You warm this winter.
I do like some soup though.
Which, you know,
Good soup.
your mom commented that she was really excited about the episode.
So the only thing about the soup episode, I could only give one of my 5 actual recipe.
Because I linked the recipes and Angela's like, oh, I don't know. My mom just
We
makes
don't-
it. We don't have a recipe.
Yeah.
And I'm
So-
like,
You just throw stuff in there.
So Angela, you mentioned it earlier. Let's talk about The Irishman.
Okay.
Because-
yes, the
but
Irishman.
Can you name? I can name a few, but can you name a Martin Scorsese movie that is not about the mafia?
I mean, no.
Yeah, I mean the
No.
ones that he does are so weird, right? So Shutter
Yeah.
Island. which
Oh,
is like
yeah.
Oh.
I didn't even watch
I didn't
that.
watch it.
thriller, suspense, psychological horror movie. The Last Temptation of Christ. Like
Missed that
come
one
on.
too.
Yeah, I mean, which is not only that it's controversial, and then like Silence, which Silence is a great movie, by the way, for anybody.
Oh, yeah, we saw that one.
Never heard of it.
Yes.
It was good.
Does it have subtitles?
Well, some of the characters speak Japanese, so some of the dialogue is in subtitles. Yes.
Yeah.
But
But it's mostly in English.
but it is mostly in English, despite the fact that all the main characters are Spanish.
Yes.
If they're not Japanese. But so The Irishman, man, I do feel like The Irishman is Scorsese like high on himself. Like it's like he's like, I've done all these mob movies. I have access to this de-aging. First of all, the de-aging technology does not work. It does not convince me.
I don't even know what you said.
So in the movie, right? Like they used CGI to make De Niro and Joe Pesci
look
and Al
older.
Pacino look younger.
Oh, younger.
but De Niro is like playing a 20-year-old, and he still moves like he's 80. Like
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
like, it's kind of like when they had in the fourth Indiana Jones, which also doesn't
Oh.
exist, when Harrison Ford is still like trying to do all his own stunts and stuff. Like he moves like a guy who's in his 60s. Like the like young whippersnapper De Niro in The Irishman, like still like looks like he's got a bad back.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah, he's walking around. You're like, you don't walk like that
yeah,
at 25.
yeah.
So
And it was
did
an hour
you
too long.
I
Yeah.
was that's my problem. I enjoyed The Irishman until I was like, okay, I mean, how much longer? And I paused it to see where I was, and
And
I
you
was
were
like,
halfway through,
I still have an hour left.
at least. Yeah.
What else do we have to do?
Well, and I started
Yeah.
thinking halfway through when I realized, okay, this is like a 4-hour movie. I was thinking they could have left this scene out. They could have
They
cut
could
this
have
scene
left the
down by
whole
20 minutes.
Yes, the
Like,
whole I think the whole part with him in the nursing home or him getting sick or getting to the nursing home, that was
yeah,
ridiculous.
I felt like, yeah, I don't know. That's there was a lot that could have just not been in it, and it would have been a better movie for it.
Right,
But
Yeah.
right.
shorter.
Also, I think they took a lot of I don't know what the word is. Okay, so no one knows what happened to Hoffa, which is
Yeah.
crazy to me that no one talked. Like no one on their deathbed said this is truly where Jimmy Hoffa, what happened to him, you know?
Well, or
So
if they did, nobody believed them.
right. So
Yeah.
this kind of just leads you down this path, and it's like this is who killed him. And I mean, it's just taking a lot of liberties, maybe.
Well, so the guy wrote a book, right?
Mhm.
The De Niro character, like he wrote.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Or he wrote a book with somebody else about it.
And
That's
what he said. Basically, he did it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you believe him?
So it's like it's one of like a gajillion theories out there
Right.
about
Right.
what happened to him. So I don't know.
But it was just too long for me. I would, if someone asked me would I recommend it, I don't know if I would, because I would say it's
No.
okay, but it is so long.
It's so flippin' long. I mean, when people were talking about it last year, like, because that's why I try to watch all the Best Picture noms every year for the Oscars just to like see what they're about. And I usually don't get through them all, especially now that there's like 10, in the category.
Right.
But yeah, it's like this movie has no business even being nominated for. In fact, I like recently it came up in my Facebook memories or whatever because we had watched it and I'm like, yeah, this movie has no place at all in the Best Picture conversation. Like Joe Pesci is great in it. Like he plays. I feel like it's one of the first roles that I've seen him in where he's more subdued, and you actually see him act as opposed to just him being nutso.
Yeah,
Like a hothead.
a character.
Yeah.
Like a
Like
big character.
Goodfellas
Yeah.
or Casino or whatever. And so yeah, Joe Pesci's really good in it. I mean, De Niro is fine, and Pacino is fine in it. But I thought that he deserves some consideration for
And
best
I think he
supporting
got
actor.
like nominated quite a bit.
Yeah,
Pesci.
I think he got nominated for the Oscar for best supporting actor. I don't know if he.
Yeah.
Won.
I don't know either.
But yeah, it's too long.
Way too long. Completely agree.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
Once Upon a Time in America is also kind of like that. Like
Now, is that the
I
one
didn't
with Brad
get to
Pitt and
watch.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
what?
What?
What are you
Huh?
talking about? No,
I don't
Once
know.
Upon a Time in America is directed by Sergio Leone, who's an Italian director who directed a lot of spaghetti westerns, like that had Clint Eastwood in them back in the day, like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Angela, you're referring to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that came out a year or two.
That's what I'm thinking. Thank you, Betsy.
Different.
So that
Very
movie, the reason that movie has that title is
Very
because of
similar name, though.
because of two movies that came before it. Once Upon a Time in the West, which is also directed by Sergio Leone, that has, oh gosh, what's his name in? He has blue eyes. I can't
Bradley Cooper.
Henry Fonda is in it. No, it's from like the 60s. And then Once Upon a Time in America, which has De Niro in it, and it's about like a mob, like the mob in like the 30s, I think 30s and 40s.
So should we watch it?
I like it. I don't.
Is it long?
But it is long, and I also think it's a little bit too long.
But it has De Niro in it, and he's young.
It has De Niro in it. It has a great director, like at the helm.
De Niro is not Pacino.
Yes, I'm aware.
No,
I do know those two. I don't know Jason Statham.
Have you seen anything else he's been in? Have you seen Serpico?
No.
What? Come on. It's not a mob movie. Serpico's a great movie.
I heard it's good. I still haven't seen it. Speaking of the old time movies, have you ever seen Sugar Time? Mm-mm. It was like an HBO movie. It was with Sam Giancana. Do you know who that is?
No.
Sam Giancana?
Sugar Time.
Sam Giancana was the Chicago mob boss that ultimately supposedly helped get a president elected. And it was just based on his movie, or based on his life. And he dated a lady that looked like Marilyn Monroe, but she had my brother's gonna kill me. She had a singing dance thing with her sister, and I can't think of the name of that. But I remember watching that on HBO. So that's 20, 30 years ago.
For gangster movies is what you're saying.
Oh, for sure.
The whole family. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Her cousin painted her brother the painting from Godfather.
There's so many too that we didn't get.
Look, Sean, when The Godfather's like this Christmas, The Godfather was on it. They just, replayed it. We just put it on and just turned the volume down. And it was just like background while everyone's going in and out of Christmas. That's just how The Godfather.
When we talked about Christmas traditions, we said our favorite Christmas movies. And I was like, Angela, can we not name The Godfather? And she's like, well, we always watch it around Christmas. And I'm like, no.
I think everyone pretty much owns them all. I mean, we just love them.
American Gangster.
I know, that's on my list.
That's a fantastic movie.
It is so good. Don't you get so mad too about how they were bringing in the drugs?
A little bit. I mean,
it infuriates me. And the coffins?
The things that make you mad, man.
Yeah. I'm like, you're gonna use.
There's other ones like Blow. That's not really a mob movie.
I didn't see Blow.
It's more drugs. It's fun to see. I mean, Johnny Depp when he was younger, like that's fun.
Oh, speaking of Johnny Depp, Donnie Brasco.
Donnie Brasco, yes.
That's real. And then I didn't see this. My brother told me Black Mass. That's based on it's based on Whitey Bulger, on his life. But Johnny Depp is also in that movie.
Yeah. If you wanted to take kind of another year, which we've established that Angela has not seen Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
But she will watch them now.
Yeah.
I'm going to at least probably watch Snatch.
Well, Angela, do you like Colin Farrell?
Yeah.
Does that do it for you? Okay, so there's like an indie film called In Bruges. Bruges is like a town in Belgium, Bruges. And it's funny. I think it's like a black comedy, but the main character is Colin Farrell, who is a hitman for the mob, who has to go and hide out in this for the English mob. But he has to go hide out in this town in Belgium called Bruges, and it is hysterical. Like,
funny?
I love it.
It's
a really funny movie. It has some kind of gruesome parts in it, but it's
like a dark comedy.
Yes, but it's definitely a dark comedy, but it's fun. And Colin Farrell's great in it. Brendan Gleeson, who is in a lot of different things, but he played like Mad Eye Moody in the Harry Potter movies. So you might not.
Sean, I've never seen any of the Harry Potters.
That's fine. I mean, you're not missing out on much.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said that, because most people are like, oh, And
I
I'm
mean,
like, calm down.
the books are really good.
Now, if you tell them you
have
haven't read
mixed,
any of the books, you're gonna get a different reaction, Angela.
I have mixed feelings about the movies, but the books are really good. I don't care if she's read them. She's an adult woman. Like
Thank you.
y'all were in college when those books came out. Like that's fine. That
Oh my gosh, you don't have to be that mean.
I mean, I read the first one because my third graders I was teaching were reading it.
I mean,
Okay,
that's just so
okay.
mean.
That's fine. I mean, I was like a yeah.
Okay, we can move on. Next subject.
In
Okay,
Bruges
Karen,
is
you
In
another,
got that
Bruges.
one, Sean. That was for you.
European
That was for you.
angle
We're calling you
kind of
Karen.
mob movie that you might enjoy.
I think the only other one on my list is Hoffa with Jack Nicholson.
I haven't seen that.
It's been a long time since I saw it. And then Gotti. Did you ever see Gotti?
No.
Never
Okay.
heard of
I
it.
have not.
And
I'm
then
looking up that list of movies that I sent you because I can't remember them all.
of course, the best what am I trying to say? Not sitcom, but like TV thing is Sopranos, right?
Yeah, dude, we tried to. Okay, so this is probably the problem with like modern HBO is Betsy and I tried
To watch
hard
Sopranos.
to watch Sopranos, and we probably got through midway through the third season,
Yeah,
Why?
I think we finished the second season.
and we quit
Why?
because it was boring.
It got slow.
Yeah,
It's just TV is so different now. When you compare it to like what we're watching, what we're binging on Netflix, and it's like what we talked about on our binging episode, Angela, we're so used to being like every episode we are ready to watch the next one and you're so involved
Mhm.
that when you
Yeah.
go back to older shows, sometimes you're like, this is like
yeah,
it just slows down.
and you can definitely see why it was a big deal at the time.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. It was the
And-
biggest deal,
Yeah.
you know?
because nothing like it had ever been done before on
Yes.
TV. That was
Now-
like one of HBO's first big shows.
That's
that
why
and
we
Sex
had
and the City.
HBO.
Yes.
Like we specifically bought HBO just for Sopranos.
Yeah.
And then when
I believe
Sopranos,
that.
when it was over, we were like, cancel. How
and
did
I
you
think
li-
and I think we've seen that with like what do we got it for Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we barely use it anymore. We should actually.
But we
look at
yeah,
it.
but that again
There's
is
some
something
things
and
like,
20 years from now, they may be coming out with stuff and go back and try and watch Game of Thrones and be like, why did everybody love this so
Not
much?
great.
But
Yeah.
at the time, it is something so new and different that it's totally engrossing, you know?
So Sean, have you seen the whole Sopranos?
no, I
We've
this was the
seen like
first
2.5
time.
seasons.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you didn't finish it. So Betsy, because I kind of figured you didn't.
And I
see
wouldn't
the
mind
end.
going back and continue where we left off because I would like to see the completed story if that makes
I
sense.
think it was on Amazon Prime
You know
at
who-
one point.
Well, I mean, it's yeah. I
We
mean,
have
we
HBO.
We have HBO.
Oh, yeah.
Max, and so Edie Falco's character at different times reminds me both of Kay in that she kind of like tries to disavow all knowledge, but also like she's willing to live in like the sick house on Lake Tahoe. But also she is somewhat like Sharon Stone's character in Casino. She goes out and spends all the money and everything, you know?
Yeah.
And so yeah. I mean, it was fun. Like it was interesting.
And see, I
It
don't have a
wasn't
problem with Edie Falco's character.
I mean, you don't know spoilers now because we still haven't seen it.
Oh,
Go back and
okay.
watch it.
I can't believe y'all haven't seen it. Like, please watch it.
I know
Just
something about the last episode just because it blew up.
That's what I want to see your reaction because the last
Yeah.
episode, everyone was. I mean, when it happened, you were just like,
Well, I
What?
actually thought it pissed everybody off. That was the point of the show. That's what I understand anyway from social media.
I don't think it was like as bad as what I've heard, and I didn't watch Game of Thrones, so I just hear people the last season saying like, "Oh, it was terrible," you know.
the last
Where
season was trash.
Sopranos,
Game of Thrones.
no one said it was terrible. They just the way it ended, you just were like, "Wait, what?"
Well, I thought.
So-
and then what I read later was that they ended it that way because they were thinking about doing a movie.
Oh,
James Gandolfini died.
Yeah, he can't do a movie now. Now, supposedly though, they're doing something with his real life son as Tony, like a prequel or whatever those things are called.
Hmm.
And his real life son's going to be Tony. I don't know how that's going to work because you
Yeah.
also fell in love with like Silvio, who is in the band. What band's he in?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's in. Yeah, you
It's
do.
probably been 2 years since we quit watching.
Not Bruce. Is he in Bruce Springsteen in the E Street? Is that thing? Is that something?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know Bruce Springsteen, that singer?
I know who Bruce Springsteen is. I don't know the name of his backup band.
Well, you know, because you're so young, we didn't know if you knew Bruce
Because
Springsteen
I'm
was.
so young. Oh my god. 8 years
'Cause-
younger than y'all.
I'm kidding. I'm laughing because Angel's like, do you know who that guy is?
Yeah, that guy. You know, going in the
I think
USA, that
I
guy.
think it's Bruce Springsteen.
I think it
I
might
mean,
be
I
him.
could be
The
wrong,
boss,
but
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's who it is. So Silvio's in that. Silvio's like his right hand man, you know. But you just love his character. Christopher, you come to kind of like love and hate sometimes, depending. Adriana, you know, you love the characters too. Do what?
No,
did you say?
I remember being annoyed by Christopher
And Adriana.
and Adriana. Their kids are so entitled.
Yeah, but it's. I love Sopranos. I really
I did
did.
think it was kind of funny because yes, they live in a nice house, but it's also kind of just like suburbia.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like, you know, Vito Corleone has this like compound state outside
Yeah,
of New
right.
York,
And
like,
watching
has,
it now, it's
giant,
even like
property on Lake Tahoe. It was like, yeah, they're just like kind of in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
for sure, definitely. Because even now, when you watch it, you're like, okay, they're supposed to be like pretty powerful, very wealthy, and then you know when you're comparing it to like other shows, like the Real Housewives houses, you're like,
It's nothing.
Sopranos?
But also, I mean, they're powerful and wealthy, yes, but I don't think they flaunt all that. People know who they are, but they're not.
Except in the case of having a boat, because let me tell you,
yeah.
we live at the coast, and what was it? How long ago was it, Betsy? We went to do like a dolphin tour out in the channel in Port Aransas, and we saw these boats that are just sitting there in storage, and I was looking and like, look, some of these boats are like $4 or $5 million for
Yeah.
a boat, not a house, a boat.
Yeah, and they have a nice
So
boat.
they have a really nice boat.
Did
There's
you
a
ever
bar
see?
in the boat? Like,
Did you see what happened on the boat? Did
I
y'all
saw
get that far?
yeah, when they killed that guy. Is that
Okay,
what
we
we're
don't need to
talking
say his name. Yeah, but they killed him. Yeah.
about? I mean, did they kill more than one guy on the boat? But yeah, they killed
Probably.
that
How
one
many
guy on
seasons
the
is
boat.
it?
No, but the big one that they kill.
Yeah.
They call him Big.
Yes.
So yeah, that was a big one.
I don't know after all this how you like don't want to do spoilers, but we've already like spoiled every movie.
No, I don't want to say his name.
No. Yeah.
It's not a
Oh, I see what
good
you're
name.
Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking
I mean,
about.
I
Okay.
would say I don't mind.
Any other movies y'all want to you want to mention?
Nope, I think I mentioned them all.
I
think I'm good. Sean, you good?
Okay. I want you to watch In Bruges. I mean, so Snatch.
Okay.
because the
Out of all
scene
those,
that you
the
enjoyed.
three, Snatch first.
Snatch, and then In Bruges, and then Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Which is probably
And then-
going to be my
think-
next karaoke. I mean, next charades.
The people you play with are going to be
I
very
think
angry
that Once
with you.
Upon a Time in America is also worth watching.
You said
I
it's
don't-
too long.
Okay, but that doesn't mean it's not good. There's a lot of movies that are too long.
I mean, it has De Niro in it, so probably going to be good.
Maybe. We'll see. Let me get through Snatched and In Bruges.
No, just Snatch. Like
Snatch?
S2e8.
That's what I said.
No ED on the
Snatch.
end.
No
Oh,
ED
okay.
on the end.
Snatch.
You'd figure it out. Now that you know who's in it, you'd be able to find the movie, I'm sure.
Jason Statham. That's how I'm looking it up.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure we missed some, so we will have
We
Let
didn't
us know
mention-
in the comments.
We didn't
what
miss
movies
many
you
though.
miss, that you
Yes.
like.
We did not miss many. And Betsy will put that poll up because y'all know I don't know how to do that.
So not on YouTube, but there will be a poll on Instagram. And then on YouTube, comment below. Don't forget about the Kay versus Michael discussion.
Oh, yeah. How do you feel?
Too.
We do. And we're going to start.
John, where have you been?
We're going to start working on a TikTok.
You know, I have an Instagram. I posted like 2 pictures lifetime on it.
Oh, I like Instagram better than Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't get the appeal.
We are on Instagram, and if you don't follow us, you should, okay? It's okay space Karen space 40 because 1 through 39 was taken.
That's right.
And
it's just a coincidence.
And we've been making some reels. By we, I mean Betsy has been making.
I don't even know what that means, but you're doing a great job.
So yeah, so follow us. We mostly post funny memes.
Well, I'm gonna follow y'all right now.
That's all we do.
Sean's gonna follow us right now on Instagram.
So that's how we're gonna get more followers, Betsy.
Yeah,
we need more guests.
Comment below about any mob movies, what your favorite was, if we missed some that you think we should watch, because we're up for that as well. Also, if they have a hot guy in them, don't forget to mention that, because then Angela will actually put it on her list to watch.
Right, because Sean, if you would have told me that, Sean, you just followed us. You
got the notice. Yay! Thanks, Sean.
All right, so
everybody
y'all.
be like Sean and follow us.
Yes, hope you enjoyed our mob movie episode.
Yes,
with our special guest. Thank you, Sean.
Okay, signing off. Sean, are you ready for the sign off?
I am. What do I have to do?
You just follow our lead. Good night, Sean. I love you.
Good night, Bradley Cooper. Love you.
I love y'all too. What?
That was perfect.